to Talking Reds. Now, I wanted to start this stream slightly earlier, as I wanted to get something off my chest. Oliver Glasner, Crystal Palace manager, you are a disgrace and nothing short of it. You have had all summer to prepare for your captain leaving to progress his career and go to a club that is fighting in the Champions League and fighting for the Premier League and has had one of, if not their best ever transfer window. And have put themselves in a position where they could be a club that dominate for years to come. And your captain wants to be part of that. You have let him go and do a medical. You have allowed him to go and agree terms with Liverpool whilst trying to get a replacement through the door. You have then pulled out of that replacement. You and your club have decided that something came up on the medical for your Marc Guehi replacement, and that we can no longer pursue that player. Whilst, bearing in mind, whilst letting Marc Guehi go through all the media duties, go through the medical, go through the contract talks, everything like that, for the move to Liverpool, to now try and pull him out of that. You are honestly a disgrace. This is a manager who is in the final year of his deal, has no interest in signing an extension, has probably, if we're going to be brutally honest, probably got his eyes on a move in the summer with the Bayer Leverkusen job being available now. There was interest, obviously, last season for a move to Bayern Munich. He wants to call the shots on what his captain does and what his club do regarding one player and £35 million for a player who's got a year left on his deal, whilst himself doesn't want to commit to the future project and the future of Crystal Palace. So you're blocking a move for the player that deserves to go and play at this level of football. You're blocking £35 million going to the kitty for Crystal Palace, which is a lot of money for a player with only 1 year left on his deal. And on top of all that, you don't even want to commit your future to the club yourself. You are a disgrace. That's why I've started this stream earlier, because you are honestly a fucking disgrace. Like, it's incredible. And if Marc Guehi to Liverpool does fall through, you can bet 100 million% I will be there watching Crystal Palace this season and hoping and praying for their absolute downfall, because they do not deserve any success or anything even close to it after behaviour like this. What a disgrace Oliver Glasner is. So, one sec. Saying I've gone on the wrong studio here, says Damo. Forgive me. Let me just check restream. One sec. This was the only studio in the waiting room, so I didn't have another one to go on to. Thank you, London. Evening Parkash. We do need to get it done. We do need Marc Guehi to get done. He needs it for him as well, because it's terrible to think, that he can block this move now, especially after it being so close. Being so close to getting sorted. There was talk of Glasner might walk. Might walk if Marc Guehi goes to Liverpool. Well, there's one for you. Don't make threats like that when you've got no interest in signing a new deal for the club anyway. But I just honestly, I cannot get my head around the behaviour from Oliver Glasner with this one. I think it's despicable what he's doing to Marc Guehi. I'm just hoping and praying that Steve Parish and the rest of the Crystal Palace board can sort him out, can sit him down, can stop him from trying to play whatever these power plays are and things like that, and and eventually see the deal pushed through, because everything's done. The medical's all complete and finished and passed. It just needs the green light now for him to sign his contract. So I guess it's crucial hours ahead. Sean says, "Yeah, it makes no sense, Ryan. This is a power play by Glasner pushing it, yet himself he's not signing a new contract." That's what I mean. It for me, and I'm sure Crystal Palace, and Steve Parish will be saying the same. Is how can you try and sit there calling shots like this? Stopping the club from getting a hefty amount of money that they need, stopping a player's, probably the one big move and the best move in his career, to Liverpool to go and fight for the Premier League, the Champions League. How can you stop all that for a season in the Conference League whilst you're also showing no interest or ambition to go and commit to the future of the club? It just makes no sense to me. But anyway, we are here. We're going to be seeing out the 7 p.m. deadline. So we'll chill. We'll keep up to date on the news. Like I say, I think it's obviously going to be a crucial hour ahead. So yeah, we'll just have to sit here and scan Twitter and see how it plays out. As really, we have no other choice. We can talk about the positives though, and the deals that have happened. Alexander Isak looks to have completed his move to Liverpool. The medical is done. Sorry, my missus is in the background. Yeah, the medical is done. I believe he has now gone back to the AXA to complete the media duties, and the announcement is tonight, which will be brilliant. Hopefully, Marc Guehi is done with that. But I think the whole transfer window has just been incredible, and there was a feeling a couple of days ago that it might not end the way we wanted it to end. But thankfully, it's had a strong one with Isak, and it can get even better with Marc Guehi. Liverpool now in a position where, Liverpool are now in a position where their attack is extremely strong. There is a situation where defense, I think, if Marc Guehi comes in, obviously strengthens, but if not, then Joe Gomez stays. After Joe Gomez's performance against Arsenal, I'm now sort of at ease with this Marc Guehi situation. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair on him, and I don't think it's fair on obviously on Liverpool and Palace's transfer kitty for what's happened. But that little cameo from Joe for me just sort of like eased it a little bit of like, we keep you fit. I don't mind waiting until the following summer, and getting you on a free. Yeah, I'm comfortable. Hi Adam, how are we? Michael says it's down to West Ham. Well, I thought it was down to West Ham, but it appears though now it was Crystal Palace who pulled out of the deal for Igor due to something on his something coming up on his medical. Was what is it? Ed Aarons was saying. Evening, Jen. You okay? So yeah, I think by all accounts, it seems as though it's Palace who have called the shots on this one. Yeah, that's an option as well, Adam. Wait until January, definitely. Sorry, I'm just trying to multitask here because there's a little bit more that's come out from David Ornstein. So let me just read you this because Jen's asking as well for an update. There is a fear Oliver Glasner could walk if Marc Guehi is sold. Guehi has completed his Liverpool medical, and there is an agreement between the clubs and the player. Oliver Glasner is having last-minute talks to try and convince him, to obviously to stay. I find that one again. It just comes back to the original point of where we started. I find that one so strange that he can make these threats, and he can try and hold the Crystal Palace board to sort of like to ransom over this one when he himself doesn't want to commit a new deal. Let's talk about the situations that could happen here, and this is why I think Palace will be so pissed off. Steve Parish especially. Let's say Marc Guehi stays, right? Let's say Marc Guehi stays and Oliver Glasner stays, sees out his contract similar to Marc Guehi for a year. They get to the end. Glasner gets offered a decent job somewhere else and goes, right, I'm going to take that. So they lose the manager, which they were going to do anyway, and they lose a player, which ultimately would have brought them £35 million. So it's all played out for them to lose £35 million on the gamble. That hopefully they do something successful in one of the cup competitions in the league again, right? Because they're not getting relegated without Marc Guehi, they're not getting relegated. So there's one scenario. You have the second scenario, which is being suggested now, that Marc Guehi goes to Liverpool and Oliver Glasner walks, which did cop £35 million, and there's managers on the market. Jose Mourinho's there, which I don't think they touch. Ange Postecoglou. They could go and buy out another manager that they feel is fit enough to go and take over at Crystal Palace with the money that they have. But ultimately, they would have £35 million for an asset that they were going to get zero for, right? Then you have the third option where Crystal Palace find this last minute makeshift defender. It could even be Joe Gomez as part of it. The Marc Guehi situation goes through, and Oliver Glasner's maybe not happy, but at least he's got a defender in. It's crucial. It's crucial minutes ahead. It is too late. It is too late for them to grow a pair. Adam says, as long as the deal sheet goes in, we have till 9. Yeah, that is true. Sky Sports saying Palace have not contacted Liverpool about stopping Guehi as they've been reported Guehi still on. Yeah, I've seen they're reporting that, but Ornstein's saying different. It is the manager that's causing problems. Theodore and Adam still think it both goes. They both think it still goes through. I would say right now it's obviously complete 50-50. What is interesting from Glasner is the David Ornstein is reporting it is a phone call. So it's a phone call between Marc Guehi and Glasner himself to obviously see where this deal is at and decide the next steps. For me, I would suggest that is a kind of maybe a last-ditch attempt from Glasner to try and convince him to not go through with the deal and stay at Crystal Palace. But how bad, by the way, how bad does that look on Glasner and Crystal Palace now if they do block his move? Any player going there in the future is going to look at that situation and think twice. What do I think of Isak? Terrible signing. 120 million down the bin. 125. We should have spent that on Asula over there. He's a much better striker. Do we think Marc Guehi pushes through the move? If it is this phone call, right, and it rests on this phone call, do we think Marc Guehi pushes through the move? Is there a situation where Marc, he's been so professional throughout it all, and he was so professional last night after the game? Do we think that there's a little bit of him that goes, look, do you know what I mean? I've passed the medical, man. I've passed the medical. He's filmed his goodbye message for Crystal Palace. He's done a little bit of the media for Liverpool. Does he maybe not push it through in the sense of the transfer requesting, or do what Alexander Isak's done and say like, oh, I won't return to Palace and all that? But do you reckon that I reckon that conversation is going pretty much like, look, come on, do you know what I mean? Let me move here. You know, you've just got to get through till January, and then you can sign a replacement. Just get me through. Like it looks so bad on him right now. Rob Dorset on Sky says, I am told categorically from 2 separate sources that Crystal Palace will still allow Marc Guehi to leave for Liverpool despite the collapse of the Ego deal. I don't trust Sky though, man. I don't trust Sky. Do you know what it needs? Deadline day needs my candle. Do love this candle. Autumn is my favourite time of year. This pumpkin candle has been with me now for like a year. Bought it for a tenner. Look how big it is. It's huge. This is what you come here for. This is the riveting insight that you come to Talking Reds for. Candles. Very true, Adam. Very true. This is Liverpool we're dealing with. And as Tim Sherwood said today, even though he can be a balloon, he was right on Sky saying that, you know, you can't ask a player to not make that move from Crystal Palace when you know, when he's being offered from such a huge football club. I mean, that's my worry a little bit with it, Tony. Is that I don't see Marc Guehi making any kind of issues. I don't see him, you know, kicking up a fuss. I don't see him trying to turn it on, you know, turn it on to Palace. I just don't see him pushing it through like that. But I think he will be asking. I think he will be asking to let him go now. This is an interesting one here. So the Palace Way, who is similar to us, you know, like a Crystal Palace like content creator and fan on Twitter, has put, he's destroying everything he's built. It doesn't matter if Guehi stays at this point. It's a complete PR disaster and an administrative disaster. Trusting Parish from the fans, from those he deals with and those he works with, will very likely damaged by the events of this window. That's an interesting way of looking at it, putting it on Parish. Do we put it on Parish? I don't know. I just, if you're Parish at this point, you've got to look at the outcomes and think, right, we can lose £35 million here for a manager that might not even see out his last 12 months, might just walk at any point, or we can take the guaranteed £35 million that is on the table from one signature and deal with an unhappy manager who might not even stay anyway. I don't see how Steve Parish, who's such a good businessman, by the way, I don't see how he's being held to ransom like this from Glasner. I don't get it. Do not get it. Adam says, I do feel sorry for Gomez though. He could have gone to AC Milan. What a move that would have been. Yeah, it looked like he was well and truly up for it as well, didn't he? I mean, I don't want Joe to leave. Like, I think it's best for him. I think it's good for Liverpool to get a decent fee for him while they can. But Joe Gomez is going to be always one of those Liverpool players that I just love and adore, and I don't want to see go anywhere. And you just see that performance, and he's done that. He's done that so many times where he comes into big games from the start or off the bench, and he just steps up and performs. He was fucking class off the bench against Arsenal. He was absolutely boss. Joe Gomez's main issue is just his body. It always has been and always will be. A player similar to Daniel Sturridge, Naby Keita, who's got all the possibilities in the world. Absolutely fantastic footballer for Liverpool, but unfortunately, the body just lets them down from having the career that they probably should. Like and subscribe as always. That is a given. That is a given when you're around here. Always got to like and subscribe. And we're bringing somebody else in. We're going to bring Derry in. Yes, hello, Derry. How are we, mate?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm not bad, sir. I am not bad. We're just well, the stream started with me just having a fat rant at Oliver Glasner, as I'm not a happy chappy right now, but I've calmed down a little bit now.
Yeah, mate, I'm the same. Feel absolutely not gutted yet because I don't know what's going to go down, but the look of his face is just pissing me off at the minute. I just don't understand how we can go from getting Guehi and it's all done, and then all of a sudden it seems like it's going the other way around, and it's pissing me off. But we'll see.
For me, what I don't understand is like, how can you try and hold Parish and Palace to ransom like this when you've only got 12 months left on your deal? You were like this far away from going Bayern Munich last summer, and you've got no interest of signing a new deal. So how are you? I just don't get how he's being able to call the shot so much like this, especially with someone like Steve Parish, who usually is quite a shrewd businessman. I'm really surprised by it. I thought Parish, being the way that he is, would have just told Glasner, no, sit the fuck down. We're taking the 35 million because we're a club that need that money.
Yeah, no, that's true. I don't know, man. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I hope this is just a situation where they're just like no one's bigger than the club. If you feel like you need to go, and keep it moving. But I did see that he could go to Manchester United, which is quite interesting because he's not a bad manager, to be honest.
No, he's not, is he? Yeah. So do he
Exactly.
do we let them keep Gay so that he stays there and United don't get him now?
Mm.
But then again, he might just, because he's only got 12 months left on his deal. He might just leave. He might just leave at the end of the season and join United anyway, regardless of whether they keep Marc Guehi or not. Because if Marc Guehi had like 3 years left on his deal, for example, and Glasner was like, look, we're trying to build a project here. He's at the heart of it. We can't sell him after we've sold Eze as well. I need him here for my future and what I'm trying to build.
Yeah.
Then I'd be like, you know what? Fair enough. I get you trying to fight for your player.
Yeah.
But when you've both only got 12 months left on your deal, and your club captain that you care so much about has got the opportunity to go to the Premier League champions, who have had their strongest window ever, look like they're about to go back to back with the Premier League if they can keep building on what they're building. Are you really in a position where you want to stop him from doing that for hopefully a decent run in the Conference League? It just seems a little bit,
Yeah.
I don't know, just a bit off to me, a bit fishy.
It seems like he just doesn't really care about anything. He just cares about his club and how far they're gonna go in the league this season. Because I don't get it. He's very sure that Guehi has to stay. Like just not going anywhere. Not even like I don't know. I don't understand it. It's clear that he wanted to leave this season. So why has it come to hours before? Now you're scrambling for defenders, but I feel like he just didn't try. He didn't go for it, and now Parrish is like, yo, he's got to go because he's gonna go on a free next season. So he's got to go, and now probably Oliver or whatever his name is pissed.
Yeah, I mean, it's been the maddest deal, hasn't it, for the deadline day so far. Lewis Steele has got a little update. 40 minutes to go. Obviously, Liverpool can submit a deal sheet, which would help us push it forward, so that we can have, I think it's an extra 2 hours. It can go to like 9 o'clock. But he's put 40 minutes ago, Marc Guehi deal on and off like a light switch. Deal agreed and medical done in London. Remember, all they need to do is get the deal sheet in by 7 p.m. Isak medical and photos is done. It is a done deal, bar obviously announcement from the two clubs.
I can't believe that, by the way.
So yeah, it's an interesting one. Reading this as well there. So LFC approved. So it explains a lot why Marc Guehi refused to push towards fans from Dean Henderson last night. He knew the deal was there to be had, but knew it wasn't going to be a simple ride. To wear Liverpool colours. Guehi told Crystal Palace officials of his desire to sign for Liverpool last night. Well, he was told now the stands now Glasner is kicking up a fuss. I think he's meant to say there, will he reiterate the message of I want to go now that Glasner's kicking up a fuss? Yeah, I mean, obviously,
why would you wait till the? Is it because is it Julio? The deal fell through. Is that the reason why it's kicking up a fuss? Because it just don't make no sense.
Yeah, so that I think it was Ed Aarons reported that Palace had saw something on that Igor's medical, something to do with his knee, and they pulled out of the deal. So because they've pulled out of that, Glasner's obviously gone like, well, whoa, hold the phone, like, can't be letting Marc go then because we said it was only if a replacement came in. You could, I mean, if you want to play conspiracy theorist, you could say
they did it on purpose.
You could say that they never, maybe Steve Parish never actually intended of signing somebody, and it was always a case of like, we'll just take it to the last minute and we'll basically force Glasner's hand and be like, look, fuck you, like there's nothing else we can do, kind of thing. Because surely there was the reports of when he started his medical were ages ago, like early this morning.
Yeah.
So if something's flagged up, you'd have known that way before you let Marc Guehi go and do his medical with Liverpool. Do you know what I mean?
But you see, because he's done the medical and all of that, I still think that this is just done, and all of this is just a joke. It's just all for show, because I just feel like it's just a bit too, like, it's just weird. Why now? You've had the whole day. Why now? Why out? Not even an hour left to the window closes, and all of a sudden you're like, he's not going anywhere, or he needs to come back.
What? I mean, it's not even. They've had what? When did we first? Was it like mid-July when it was first reported that we were interested in Guehi, which means obviously we'd have told Palace and Guehi months before that.
They had conversations from March.
Yeah, like they've had the entire summer to find centre halves, and it's not like there's been a shortage of players on the market. Like Akanji, I think has gone into Milan. Nathan Ake looks like he's potentially make a late move to Everton. So them two were available. There's other centre halves in the Premier League that you could go and get. I know they tried for Joe Gomez, didn't they? Supposedly, I think it was yesterday or something like that, or the day before.
Yeah.
But it seems as though Joe had no interest in going there. But they've had more than enough time, because the beauty of it as well is knowing the Marc Guehi situation and only having 12 months is you don't even have to find a defender who you're like, right, this is going to be our defender for the next God knows how many years. You just need to find a stopgap to do what Marc Guehi would have done for a year. And then the summer transfer window in 2026, when you were anticipating losing him anyway, then you can go and roll out for the centre half that you really want if you think there's no one in the market.
Yeah.
And like, don't get me wrong, he probably still makes the move, doesn't he? Like, he probably does still move to Liverpool, whether it's this summer or it's the following summer.
Yeah. I was going to say, you see, because he's done the medical, passed the medical, and they've agreed a deal, doesn't that mean that we can just, whatever Glasner says, we could just sign him?
I mean, that's probably the beauty of the situation, isn't it? If Steve Parish does literally decide, you know what, fuck you, like we need this physical money, then he just signs and it's done. I think the only thing that potentially stops this now is if Steve Parish does go, right, we'll surrender the 35 million to keep Oliver Glasner happy, which I still don't see that happening, or Marc Guehi literally turns around and goes, you know what, I'll come back actually, and I'll stay for another year. But again, imagine if it was Glasner and he went to a club. Let's say he's Palace now. Let's say Real Madrid, right? Real Madrid wanted him as the manager, so he flies over to Spain. There's a couple of hours left to do a deal. he does all the signing on stuff, does all the chat about how he's going to do his tactics and how he's going to play, gets everything sorted, and then at the last minute, Palace just go, actually, now we're not going to release you. Imagine how you would feel,
Exactly,
and then Real Madrid go, well, look, we'll either wait a year for you, or in that year, actually, we might find someone better and go for them. Like you'd feel like your whole world was falling apart because you were this far away from from the biggest thing ever to happen in your career.
True.
Like it must. I feel so sorry for Marc Guehi and how he must be feeling right now.
Yeah.
And he's been so professional as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has definitely. I think out of all of the players so far that's had these little bits of drama and stuff, he's been pretty clinical, man. He's just gone about his business, and even when was it Dean Henderson?
Yeah.
Pushing him to go and say that goodbye to the fans. Obviously, some people could take it two different ways. It's like, why is he not saying bye? Like that's a bit rude, but he's just trying to be respectful and show, look, okay, maybe it might not happen, so I don't want to be pushing out a story that like all the wrong narrative. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
When I saw that last night, when I saw that whole Dean Henderson trying to push him and Marc Guehi refusing, that like I've wanted Marc Guehi all summer, but that just made me want him even more because it just epitomizes like
type of
like the captain and the leader that he is. Of like, look, whether I go Liverpool or not, tonight's not about me. It's about the club and it's about you lot. You know, it's about the team winning 3-0 away at a difficult ground. Don't make it about me. I just think like you don't need a background check because you can just see from the interviews alone that he is such a Liverpool player and such a top guy.
Yep, 100%. You could see it all the way through him, man. And of course, his personality is great, but him as a footballer, he's he's the top quality, man. And of course, when there's a player of that caliber involved in the transfer market, it's never going to be straightforward, especially when it comes with us. I don't know why we always seem to have. Uh, it's never straightforward.
No,
There's always sort of drama.
whether it's transfers or cup finals or if Liverpool are involved, you know it's going to basically recede your hairline and take a few years off your life. Like
1000%.
oh man, I'd be so happy if I reach the age of fucking 40 following this football club. Like it is hard, man. It is hard.
It is. It really is.
But yeah, I mean, do you know what's annoying about this as well? Though, what's pissing me off is I wanted to come on here and I wanted to just chat about Alexander Isak's going to be in the front line. Marc Guehi, Konaté's back on form. Virgil van Dijk, Leone, Joe Gomez look really good off the bench. You know, talk about the win over Arsenal, and now how we can build on that even more. And unfortunately, this Marc Guehi drama is overtaking it. I mean, we are literally, if we're going off David Ornstein's reporting, we're all just spamming Twitter waiting for the outcome of this phone call. And as he says there, we've only got 30 minutes left. And that, bear in mind as well, so that's 30 minutes left of this window. We can extend it. If Liverpool and Palace submit a deal sheet to take it to 9 p.m., then maybe that should fill us with a little bit of confidence. Because if this deal was off, they'll just roll it out at 7 p.m. and say, right, job's a good one. So if they do file a deal sheet to go over the 7 p.m. Deadline, then that's positive. But we'll have to we'll have to wait and see. I'm currently just absolutely spamming Twitter to see if we if we get anything.
What do you think of Elliot?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm gutted about Harv leaving, and he's one of them, isn't he? Where he reminds me of what we would all be like if we played for Liverpool. Like he feels like a fan who's won a competition to play, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I mean it in a sense of like when he's like flipping Richarlison off, and like winds up opposition fans, and every chance he gets to kiss the badge, and you watch like the behind the scenes videos that Liverpool do, and he's always the one who's, like you can just tell he's so happy to be there and so happy to be a Liverpool player. Losing that out of the dressing room and losing that, for us as a fan base, I think it's always going to be difficult. But on the flip side, because I love him so much, I want to see him play football.
I hear that.
And the gaffer don't rate him, does he? Do you know what I mean? So if the gaffer
Neither
doesn't
do I,
rate
to
him,
be honest, but it is what it is. I think I think the level that we're at. I mean, he's not a bad player at all. Actually, he's just not at the level that I believe he should be to play football for Liverpool Football Club. Um, but saying that, he's done some great work while he's been here. He's scored some important goals. He's been a part of important goals. So respect to him for doing what he did when he was here. But for us to get to the level where it's going to be difficult for teams to catch up with us, we need to be letting players like that go and play regular football elsewhere, rather than making it a situation that we need to put Elliot on because we like Elliot. It's not. It's not. It shouldn't be about that. And
yeah,
it's the same thing that goes for Endo as well. I think Endo is a great guy, great human being, but he shouldn't be coming onto the pitch because we like Endo, and Endo, he's he's just extra legs. Every player that should be coming onto the field should be coming onto the field to make an impact in a positive way, not to just like close the gaps or just make up the numbers, help us get to the 91st minute or the 90th
yeah.
minute. I don't. I'm not really a fan of that. I think it's quite disrespectful, to be honest. But it's part of football. If the manager feels that you can do a job in 2 minutes of the game, because anything can happen in the last 2 minutes of the game. So yeah, that's just part of it. But I just think for Elliot, it's a great move. Going to Aston Villa, that is a superb move. I think Aston Villa is a great side with Emery trusting him. I think it would be a great move for him.
I think I think it might as well. It might, because of the deal being a small loan, giving them a season to find the money to pay for him, might also sweeten our relationships with Aston Villa
Rogers.
if obviously we're interested in Morgan Rogers in the future. I think coming back to your point about those players off the bench, I think in an ideal world, you have a squad of everyone who can make the same impact. Basically bringing starters off the bench to come in. I think you do need one or two Endos players who know their role and are happy to go, you know what, I'll go the whole season and just play cup games in the last 10, 15 minutes, because those players are important. But I agree with your sentiment of, I think you can still do that with maybe that little bit more quality. I think that midfield is an interesting one to watch next summer. I would, if Adam Wharton is available, then Liverpool are going to be there next year. There's no doubt about that. Liverpool won't stand still if a player like that becomes available on the market, unless we were stacked with quality in midfield. Now there is question marks around obviously whether Endo would stick around next year or want to go and play football. I don't envision a world personally where Endo leaves and Adam Wharton comes in, because one of Adam Wharton, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Wirtz, or Jones, whilst we've got Trainioni as well coming through, a few of those seven are gonna be on the bench, and they are all players who can play from the start.
Yeah.
So keeping all of them is going to be, keeping all of them happy is going to be a difficult task. So you might see a Curtis Jones maybe move on and an Adam Wharton come in, or God forbid, there's been talk of Real Madrid interested in Alexis McAllister, or like Liverpool have done this summer. I could just be completely wrong, and Arne Slot goes, "Fuck that! I'm just going to build this absolute Galacticos super squad, and I'll just try and fit them all in. We'll play Verge at the back on his own, and we'll just throw everybody everywhere, and we'll just see how it goes. Seems to be the approach. I mean, we had a number 10. We had a number 10 playing right back on against the Arsenal. We've now signed Alexander Isak, and he spoke about playing them as a 2. But then you've got Florian Wirtz and Mo Salah. So where do they fit in?
With Mo Salah, I feel like we need to start finding ways to just, live life after Mo Salah, because during the games it's very difficult. I'm sure I'm not the only person that feels this way, but a lot of people are scared to voice their opinion in this way. Watching Mo Salah play 90 minutes of football is very, very frustrating for me. However, when you kind of just know some way, somehow, he's going to either score or give an assist, you just have to just watch. And that's like watching Liverpool in general. It's a frustrating situation, but at some point, some way, somehow, we're gonna score and win the game, or just win the game in general. And it's obviously a bunch of individuals that create the collective of the team. But when you're watching a player that is supposed to be the greatest winger to grace the Premier League, and a lot of people call him that, it's difficult to understand why he makes easy chances look so hard when he would miss one, or he would miss a penalty in real situations where we need these goals. When you feel like you can bring in a young, hungry player, I feel like at least do that to keep him hungry, keep him on his toes. Even though he comes into the squad every single season looking in tip top shape, and I respect that. If there's one thing I respect, his fitness. He's the best ever, ever. Coming into the season every single time ready. He's the best ever, along with Cristiano Ronaldo. But Ronaldo, when he was in the Premier League, I don't think Cristiano Ronaldo was looking like Salah. He, at his age as well, he's 33 years old, and he still looks the way he does, and he still moves quite agile, and you know what I mean. He still looks the part. It's just it's a consistency. Like I feel like he's been always like this, where he just misses so much, but then he scores. He'll be missing in the game, and then he scores or he assists. And I feel like he just needs to step that up, and he can do it. But if he can't anymore, there should be somebody else there to not replace, but just fill in for now.
I think if you were realistic, you knew he weren't going to replicate last season this season, because last season was just mental. You know, he was incredible last year, and to ask him to do that again was always going to be a tough task. Like, I think that's the sign of a top player, is even when you're playing poor, you end up getting a goal or assist. The Arsenal game was a slight worry for me, as I felt like he was quite off it. Like, the first touch was poor. I thought his decision making in and around the box was unlike him. It was a little bit rushed. It was a little bit in between at times, of like whether it was a cross or a shot, whether it was a pass or a dribble. He just felt like he was just a little bit off it. But as I've discussed on here and a few other places before, that for me, that's one of the main reasons why I'm so excited about Alexander Isak. Is I'm now not worried about life after Mo. My worry about life after Mo was, and Verge, how many world-class players are we going to have, in the squad? Because we're losing two. Alisson's probably going to go at some point as well. And it's like, when you start losing world class players like that, if you don't bring world class players in, your project can flip on its head quite quickly, and then obviously what you've got planned for the next 3-4 years can change. Whereas we've signed Florian Wirtz, world class, will become even better. Signing Alexander Isak for me is that takes that weight that I feel about losing Mo away, because it's like, right, well, when we lose Mo, what are we worrying about? Well, we're going to lose a lot of goals and we're going to lose a lot of assists. We brought assists in with Florian Wirtz and we're bringing a shit ton of goals in with Alexander Isak. So life after Mo for me feels a little bit more comfortable now that I know Alexander Isak is going to be here for the future. But I agree that on that right hand side, it is now a case of what is the future looking like after Mo. I mean, there was talk, weren't there, of maybe Elise next summer. Him being one of the targets. There's Malik Fofana has been mentioned. Antoine Semenyo at Bournemouth's been mentioned. Obviously, we've got Rio Engamoa, but he's more left than right. Outside of Elise, if we are going to continue the way we play, I can't really think of many top class right wingers with a left foot, who come in and affect the game as much as Mo. So maybe it is all out for Elise next summer, and he becomes not the Mo Salah replacement, but he takes Mo's future. He takes that right wing role in the future.
Yeah,
we'll just have to wait and see. I get what you're saying there, Adam, on the comment saying Salah was playing for a new contract. One thing I would say is Mo probably had enough credit in the bank to have an all right season and still get a new deal. There was enough love from the fans. He's still, as we've mentioned, even when he's not playing well, he's still getting goals and assists. I think he had enough in the bank to angle for a new deal, regardless, really, of his season, unless it was an absolute shit show. But you also have to remember that, bar that second half against Arsenal, where Mo was a lot better, to be fair, bar that second half against Arsenal, the first 2.5 games of the season, we've been quite iffy in our performances as well, haven't we? We've not been great off the ball. On the ball, we've looked a little bit slow and a little bit pedestrian and a bit in between. The more settled that we are as a squad, and the more that Mo gets used to his new players, I think obviously that'll settle down Mo more as well. One thing that I thought was interesting, it was on. I don't think it was on Sky before the game, but it was on Sky socials. Mo did an interview saying that he's still trying to get used to Ekitike.
Yeah,
I've seen it. He was saying like it's not the same as Darwin and Diaz, where he said, I know what they want. He said, I'm still trying to get used to Hugo, of like, sometimes he wants to come short, other times he wants to go long, sometimes he likes it at feet, other times he likes it in behind. And it's like sometimes we do forget that. He's trying to strike up a relationship with Wirtz. He's trying to strike up a relationship with Hugo Ekitike. He's now got Alexander Isak that he's got to try and strike up a relationship with as well. And obviously you got Cody on the other wing, and he's also got a new fullback. You forget that as well. He's got a new fullback he's got to get used to in Frimpong. There is. I'm not making excuses, but there's probably rhyme and reason for why he's been a little bit off it.
I mean, it's for me when I watch him very closely, and it's not been well. Okay, this season you can give him the benefit of the doubt that he's playing with new players, so it's going to be a little bit worse than what he would normally play like when things are not going well. Because I've watched him and I've just watched and thought, why is he so out of this game? I don't understand. And this is last season. He was still great, but there was times where he was just like completely missing. And I'm like, what the hell? This is the same team. You've been playing with these guys. What's the problem? But now he is just like ghost, completely ghost. If he hasn't scored, then what has he done? Nothing. And it's worrying for me. Even when we win games, I still look at what could have been. And it's not. It's you shouldn't just look at it. Oh yeah, we won the game, so it doesn't matter. That's not how it works because later on down the line, that thing that you was just trying to avoid, trying to fix, will come up in the end, and then it's just like, oh, you're surprised, but you shouldn't be surprised because you should have seen it coming when you kept doing the same thing, and the results weren't coming out. So with with Salah, I know it's an unpopular opinion because of how many goals he scored and all of this stuff, but I always say it: if you're not scoring goals, what else are you doing? Because football is just not about scoring goals. Your your position, sorry, your position in the field in the team is not just scoring goals. It's about helping the team.
I think you're absolutely spot on. And for me, as an attacker especially, if you aren't getting goals and assisting, yeah, you still have to be doing. You still have to be making an impact. Now you might just have a day where you're like, you know what, I'm off it on the ball today. Like can't get it out my feet. Passes aren't on. I'm just not feeling it. So when you do that, when it feels like that, I always think as a player, the way you get yourself back into form in a game and longer is, well, you know what, you start with the foundations. I'm going to work my fucking socks off. I'm going to chase back. I'm going to tackle someone. I'm going to get the crowd up. I'm going to hit someone. I'm going to complete my first few passes, and that'll make me, that'll make me feel better, and I'll start to build in the game. I thought he did that against Arsenal. To be fair, I thought that was the hardest him and Gakpo have worked all season so far, and I think that was one of the reasons why we looked a little bit more defensively solid. So that's good to see. But there is definitely an element of, I saw a few people mentioning it, saying, you know, maybe we need to need to have that conversation about, about him going forward. And there was a few people saying if it gets to the last 15, 25 minutes of the game and Mo's not having that same impact, we need to look at the bench, and maybe bring him off. If we're a bit stronger in depth now that Alexander Isak's come in, then we can probably hear that. I don't think you should be bringing. I don't think you should be bringing Mo off, say Chiesa, for example, at the moment, and playing Chiesa on the right wing, as I still think Mo offers those big moments, doesn't he? So you can't ignore that fact. But I agree. If Liverpool are to have a successful season, Mo Salah will more than likely have to have a successful season, and for him to do that, it definitely can't just be, it can't just be a goal against Bournemouth when we're already winning the game, or an assist, an assist when we're like 3-4-0 up. He needs to be there in those big moments. Against Bournemouth, he was. Obviously against Newcastle, it was. I think it was a tough game for all attackers against Newcastle because the ball was in play. Was it 40% of the game or something like that? Which is mental, by the way. Like,
Yeah,
to have a game in the Premier League and the ball only be on the pitch for 40% of the 90 minutes is awful.
yeah, that's crazy.
So yeah, it's obviously now we have this fucking stupid international break 3 games into the season, which pisses me right off. Especially, by the way, why is it starting on the deadline day? Why are we signing Alexander Isak and potentially Marc Guehi, and I've got to sit there now watching YouTube and wanking off for 2 weeks, and I can't even watch
The
them
only
play,
good
man.
thing about this year international break is the injuries that we received
True.
in the game, and
And Alexander Isak gets 2 weeks of training and playing a bit.
exactly, and he could possibly play for Sweden, so we get to
Yeah.
see him playing for Sweden, and which means if he plays for Sweden, he could be ready to play when he gets back.
Yeah. That is true.
So there's a light at the end of the tunnel for that one. But yeah, everyone hates international week, man, and we just hope that everyone comes back fresh because it's always when it's us, it's always international week that messes us up. Always. We've somehow come out with 9 points. If we go to international, I'm not even going to say it. Let's just come back and enjoy that international break, and hopefully everything's fine.
Yeah, it's you are right. It is light in the end of the tunnel that he'll hopefully be able to get some minutes for Sweden. I mean, I suppose we'll have 2 weeks of of being able to watch all the media stuff that they do for them anyway, all the behind the scenes, signing videos and stuff like that, which builds the excitement. But yeah, we're now 8 minutes. We are 8 minutes away from the end of the transfer window. There's still no more news on Marc Guehi. There's no news on a deal sheet being submitted.
They said Liverpool have 10 minutes to submit a deal sheet for Marc Guehi. Guehi is still in London after completing his medical to join Liverpool.
Yeah.
Liverpool
It was
must have
Red Memorabilia, who are obviously a Liverpool memorabilia Twitter account, who, to be fair, tend to be quite good with information. The bloke does have a few sources and has been all right this summer. As said, we have been told that Marc Guehi deal will go through. Apparently, according to Chris Williams, who's one of the journalists or ex-journalists who used to cover the Bundesliga, who has a few sources, has said that Marc Guehi is waiting for an update inside the Liverpool offices in London. Liverpool's senior staff arrived just after 6 p.m. to travel back to Liverpool with him. They're all still waiting. Indy Kaler, who now has become a trusted source, which is mental, has said, exclusive, this will be Oliver Glasner's last season at Crystal Palace. Any new contract signed will have a release clause. This contract, if signed, will be the PR marketing reasons only. The manager is very ambitious and eyeing a particular job up in the Premier League with a little devil emoji for obviously Manchester United. Yeah, we're now down to 7 minutes.
So we
Still
have
nothing.
Minutes to get this deal sheet signed.
Yeah, I mean, media always report behind what is the actual real live event. So for all we know, that deal sheet might already be through, and it'll be, there is obviously that chance, but
that's true.
It's just one of them. Just spamming Twitter and waiting for someone to just update us with something. I'd rather it just be the deal's going to go through.
All of this could have happened, and the deal probably has been done, and it's just, making it go down to the wire.
I can't be asked with a deal sheet, and then it'll be Liverpool and Palace are now going to attempt to potentially complete the deal before 9 p.m. But Oliver Glasner is still holding out for the player not to move. So basically, what we've done for the last 2 hours, we have to do for another 2 hours, and just sit here scratching our asses waiting.
I guarantee the deal sheet gets signed before 7, and then it's another 2 hours, maybe 5 minutes before 9 p.m. Guehi's been signed.
If it is the case, I hope we announce it with him like on the phone, and he's like, "There's always Liverpool," and then just puts it down on Glasner.
Oh my god!
How do you think? I've seen loads of people who have said like we should do the Alexander Isak thing, like with the thumbs up or something like that, and try and have like a cheeky little jab at
Newcastle.
At Newcastle. I don't see us doing that. I just don't think we're that kind of club. But it'd be funny, wouldn't it?
Arsenal would do that, definitely.
Right. So I need to ask like people this because I don't get it. The Arsenal did like a full video promo before the game yesterday, if you saw, and it was the whole like it was like make a statement or something like that, and it was an entire video montage in their away kit. Yeah. Is this something that they usually do for games? Because like that seems a bit weird, that like tempting that kind of fate and being that so blasé about we're here to like take over and we're here to make a statement and stuff. It's just another Premier League game.
I think the signings that they made got to their heads a little bit. So and the way we've been playing compared to them was like, we've got Liverpool, man. We've got them where we want them. We drew at their ground last season. We're gonna beat them, no problem. And they got it wrong.
They got it completely wrong.
We may have lost him. Nah, we ain't lost him. We ain't lost him.
No news at all. Nothing's happened today. No, nothing at all. Absolutely nothing.
Someone said London said don't sleep on Ekitike. Yeah, that is true. I think Ekitike can be just as deadly as Isak eventually.
I I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't know if it is Ekitike on the left or it's Isak on the left and through the middle. But the thought of them two playing together is it's pretty exciting, isn't it?
It's insane. I think Ekitike will be on the left. He looks more of a winger than
Yeah,
Isak. And he's got sublime feet in
yeah, he
tight
has.
space.
Yeah.
He's much more quicker and stronger on the ball than Gakpo. For me, like Gakpo is very slow. He's good, very good, but well, he's gotten better. He's really improved, but he just seems very slow to react to things and to make a move. And he always has this same movement, the same pattern. Go this way, then that way. He's always cutting in. There's
Yeah.
He's not unpredictable. He's very predictable. So we need to have at least have them both fighting for that position, so Gakpo can elevate. Because I feel like when Diaz was there, Gakpo was on fire. He was just bagging goals, no problem.
Mm.
And even when he did cut in, there was no way of stopping Gakpo from taking that shot and scoring. So I feel like with Ekitike, he's unpredictable. He just has this. He's on the same page as Verts. They have this link up, this chemistry and understanding that you shouldn't really take for granted. And I feel like every time they've taken off Ekitike and Verts, it's just for some reason gone wrong. So hopefully Ekitike can get a few games of 90 minutes under his belt, because he needs to play a full game, because I feel like he can impact the game anytime of the game.
Oh, so Mike McGrath from the Telegraph has just put out saying deal sheet set to be submitted for Marc Guehi's move from Crystal Palace to Liverpool, but the deal is in the balance. Medical completed. Player and Premier League champions want it to happen, but out of their hands. Okay. So well, obviously we know the player wants, but the player and Premier League. The player still wants to move. Which means if that's the case, then you would imagine that phone call hasn't gone the way that Glasner wanted it to go.
Yeah.
I mean, we are now on 7 p.m, so the window is officially shut. Obviously, apart from the fact that there can be deal sheets.
Apparently, it's been submitted.
Yeah. Seeing that Palace have signed that Jadon Canvot, but he's a 20-year-old French defender that they've been interested in for a while now. So I don't think that one is related. I mean, first of all, like the transfer window's closed, which is great, and Liverpool have had the best transfer window out of any club this season, arguably ever. I think it rivals the Real Madrid one where they got Xabi Alonso, Arbeloa, Kaká, Ronaldo, Benzema.
That transfer window was insane.
Yeah, and then just a few others as well sprinkled in there for laughs. But I think this one rivals it definitely. So that's good. It's good. Yeah. Liverpool have had a successful summer transfer window. We are now literally just waiting on the announcement of Alexander Isak, Premier League transfer record. Obviously, a huge signing, and it could be even better. Palace have just announced their new defender. That is Jadon Canvot. So that's positive. We're now just waiting to see if they've submitted a deal sheet. So the Premier League have tweeted, clubs can still complete transfers after 7 p.m. if they have submitted a deal sheet. The transfer deal sheet is we undesigned declare the negotiation and the transfer loan of player blah 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 from blah 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 to blah 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 prior to the closing of the window. Oh wait there. So it's we understand we undersigned declare that negotiations for the transfer / loan of player X from transfer club to transferee club have been concluded prior to the closing of the transfer window. Right, okay. So the deal sheet, it's not like an extension to keep negotiating. It's a little bit more of a no. You know, we're submitting this with the intentions of completing the deal.
The deal, yeah. No, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, but I presume it can still fall through if it doesn't go past the 9 p.m. one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why we would submit a. I don't know why we'd submit a deal sheet if it's not going to go through. I don't know. Right. Anyway, that's us. That's us, guys. Yeah. If anything happens, then I'm sure one of the lads will be able to pop on and break it. But it looks like we're all going to have to just wait for another 2 hours and see if anything happens. The positives are Marc Guehi has completed his medical, completed all the contracts and things like that. Everything is done. Literally, everything is complete. It just needs the clubs to sign off on it. So it's not like this is a 2-hour rush to try and get everything over the line. Everything is done. We just need both clubs to go, yep, sound, let's get it over and done with. And he'll be on his way to Liverpool. But we all know that's an agonising wait. Thank you for joining me, big man.
Mm-hmm. No problem, bro.
I appreciate it. And I'll see you soon, Derek. See you later, everybody.
Take it easy, mate.
And you, mate. See you, guys.